Hey everybody, this is Magdalene Adenike. This is day 4. Day 4. I hope you've had a wonderful day and a great and productive day. And yeah, we're here again, day 4. I can't believe it's Thursday already. When I had the inspiration to do this, it was definitely a Monday. It was a Monday morning. I never knew I was going to be able to do this, but yeah, 4 days later, we're still on it. It's a 5-day campaign. Like I said, the campaign is understanding your why and going for it. The first day we talked about what about your accent. The second day we talked about close the door to doubt. The third day, which was yesterday, we talked about who stole your identity. And today I'm going to be talking about be persistent. Be persistent. And as usual, I'm going to give a definition of what persistence means. Persistence means continuing firmly in an opinion or course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. Continuing firmly in an opinion or course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. So what does that mean? It's clear enough, but I'm going to expatiate on it. What is it that you're doing that you feel like, let me just pack it up because it's not getting me anywhere? What is it that you're trying to achieve, but every time you keep pushing at it, it seems like nothing is happening. It just seems like, what's the point? Just pack it up now and just sit down and chill out. Let me give you some quotes that I found. I like to write things down. I do research, do loads of research and write things down to just kind of give my thoughts train a good way so that I know exactly what I'm talking about and I know which pattern to follow. Ambition is the path to success. Persistence is the vehicle you drive in. That's by Bill Bradley. He says, ambition is the path to success. Persistence is the vehicle you drive in. So each and every one of us may have an ambition. I'm ambitious. I want to achieve this. I want to achieve that. I want to be the next Whitney Houston. I want to be the next Eddie Murphy. I want to be this. I want to be that. That's the path to success, yes. But persistence is the vehicle you drive in. Because especially when you talk about actors, you may have one big break today and then nothing is coming through and you're like, oh, and you need the bills are coming in fast and furious and you're like, what am I going to do? Most of the time you'll be like, should I continue in this dream? Because if I'm not getting all the leads that I want, I'm going for all the auditions, I'm not getting anything, might as well just pack it up and go and get another job, and then at least I know there'll be regular income coming in. But listen to what I just read. Ambition is the path to success. Persistence is the vehicle you drive in. You have to be persistent in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. It's difficult. The road is very rough. The road is not smooth. But then that's life. Life is not a bed of roses. You have to be persistent. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing. You can't just stop. Because the thing is, where you stop may be the point that you get the breakthrough, you get the miracle, you get the blessing, you get the thing you've been wanting to get all along. But because you just stopped and you could not push, you couldn't wait just that one day or just that one more hour or just that one more week or one more year. You just like, that's it, I'm fed up, that's it. And then you lose out on that blessing you've been pushing to get. Let me give you another quote. It said, persistent people begin their success where others end in failure. I love that. Persistent people begin their success where others end in failure. Yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, I made reference to failure. I said failure is you're only a failure when you allow yourself to stop because things didn't work out for you. That's when you're only, but if you're able to dust yourself up and pick yourself up and say, you know what, okay, what has gone wrong? What can I learn from this? And continue. You can't be classed as a failure because you'll keep pushing. You'll keep pushing. You keep pushing. You keep pushing. All the guys and ladies that we celebrate today. I made reference to Usain Bolt again, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. We're able to celebrate these people because of the fact that they never ever gave up. They continued. They were persistent. They were persistent. They were persistent. Even in the face of adversity, they were persistent because they had an end goal in mind. My question to you now, what is your end goal? Is your end goal bigger? Is it bigger than what you're seeing right now? Is your end goal bigger than what you're seeing right now? What is your end goal? What is it that will keep you holding on even when everything around you is telling you let go? What is it that would keep you awake till early hours of the morning because you're like, okay, how can I do this? I tried it this way, it didn't work. I tried it that way, it didn't work. There must be a way. There must be a way. What is it that would keep you hungry even though you're eating, but it seems like that you have this big vacuum that you just can't fill up? You have to be persistent. You just can't let go, because you never know at that point of letting go. That's the time you may get that email. That's the time you may get that man, that woman come look for you. That's the time you get that phone call or that letter come through. But then, like I said, once the blessing comes when you're not prepared to get it, you lose out because you've given up. It's easy to give up. I've said this before. It's easy to give up, but it's difficult to hold on. It's easier said than done. I know that. But it's easy to give up. Let me give you another quote. It says, if you are persistent, you will get it. If you are consistent, you will keep it. If you are persistent, listen to it again, you will get it. If you are consistent, you will keep it. You have to be persistent in order for you to get it. Then you have to be consistent in order for you to keep it. Since we're still in the Usain Bolt thing, let me just stick with Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt has not been, he wasn't celebrated once as 100 meters, the fastest runner, just once, and that was it. He was celebrated every time he came, he did his thing, he conquered. He came, he did his thing, he conquered. He came, he did his thing, he conquered. Hence the reason why we can talk about Usain Bolt today. You have to be consistent. If you are persistent, you will get it, okay. You will get the prize at the end of the day, yes. But you have to be consistent in order for you to come back and say, oh, 2-time world champion, 3 times world champion, 4 times world, and on and on and on, because you were consistent. You are still hungry as if it was the first time you ever got that award. You have to be consistent. You can't be carried away because, oh, someone gave you an award and you're like, yeah, that's it, I've arrived. If that's your end goal, then that's good. But if that's not your end goal, that's more, you know that there's something bigger and better for you out there, you have to be consistent. So persistence now, so it's not just being persistent alone, you have to be persistent and consistent. I'll say that again, you have to be persistent and consistent in order for you to get to where you need to get to. Life will not make it easy for you. But then, are you a fighter? Are you a loser? Do you quit when you face hurdles? At the first point of hurdles, do you just give up and say, that's it, I can't do it anymore? Or do you keep going on? Do you keep going on? Let me use another example of a woman who has multiple children. So the first time she goes into the hospital to give birth, so she's never experienced giving birth before. She's never experienced that pain that comes along with it. And I don't know, she's watched the videos and everything, so she has some form of anticipation of what's going to happen. But because it's a video, it's not actually happening real. It doesn't really hit home until the reality actually begins to happen, and you're like, whoa, now the pain is intense. So she goes into the hospital now and she goes to have this baby. And she's screaming and shouting. As you step into the hospital door, you can hear her screaming in the whole place, shouting to give birth to this child. And the partner is there. And she's probably cursing him off, squeezing his hand, telling you, never come near me again, and all these things. Then she has the baby. Then all that shouting ends. Then they take the baby away and then they go home. That's the first child. So then, I don't know, they decide, okay, we want to have another child. And say probably they give themselves, say, 2-3 years. What would make that woman go back a second time when she knows that the end result is pain? What would make her go back the second time? But she doesn't just go back second time. She goes back the third time. She goes back the fourth time. She goes back the fifth time, the sixth time. Going back twice is big. Going back 3 times is big. Going back 4 times, when you're going, you're counting 4, you're counting 5. Whoa. Is it because the woman is addicted to pain? Well, to each his own. Everybody has their own fantasies. But is she really addicted to pain that she keeps going back? She keeps going back to have that child. To have a child. She has the first child, the second child, the third child, the fourth, and on and on and on. She keeps going back. Is it that she forgets the pain after she has the first child? Is it that that pain just automatically disappears? That whole process of giving birth, that whole process is wiped clean for her mind and she never remembers again? Or is it because of the love for the partner and the love of the fact that she wants to give birth, she wants to bring life into this world, to be able to look after this child and bring about the next generation of future leaders? Whatever the meaning behind it, that's not what I'm trying to focus on here. The point I'm trying to focus on is that she knows that there's pain. Before she gets the blessing, she must go through the pain. So she knows that, but she still goes through that pain. Not just once, she goes through it at multiple times. That's consistency. She's consistent to the end. She doesn't stop halfway, even when the pain is so intense. And you hear the doctors and the midwife come and telling her, push, push, push. And she's losing breath. And she's like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. And they're shouting, come on, push. The baby's almost there. It's almost there. It's almost there. But she's consistent to be able to push that baby out. That's consistency. But she's also persistent in the sense that she goes back she does it the first time. She comes back the second time. She comes out and she begins to have multiple births. I'm trying to break this down for you so that you, the listener, can understand what I mean about being persistent. For you to be persistent is for you to continue to strive even when you're going through pain. It's for you to continue to strive even when the situation is telling you no. It's for you to continue to strive even when everybody is telling you no. I told us earlier on in the week that someone else's opinion should not be the loudest voice you hear. Someone else's opinion of you should not be the loudest voice you hear. You need to be your number one your own number one cheerleader. You need to be cheering yourself up, saying, come on girl, come on guy, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I talked about putting your head above the water yesterday. You have to be persistent in striving to get what it is you want to get. Yesterday I talked about who stole your identity, and I looked at it in the direction of looking at other people and being envious of them. When you're spending all that time and energy being envious of that person, when you can actually sit down and say, okay, what is it do I have within me, what is it that I can do? What can I give birth to in order for me to strive and be a blessing to myself, my family, and the society? And in order for you to be able to do that, you have to be persistent. You can't give up at the first disappointment that you face. You can't give up because, you've done everything, you've prepared your pitch, and then they say no. You've gone to the bank manager, you've done your business plan, and everything just looks so fantastic, so beautiful, so glossy, and you're like, yeah, I've got it. But then they go around and tell you no. You can't just quit then. You do all the revision you want to do. You study up about the company, get all the questions, you get your best suit, or even go out to buy the best suit, and you get your dress, everything, your heels are banging, your bag, everything, you're looking sharp. You've done your hair, your makeup is on point. You're like, yeah, I'm going for this interview and I'm going to get this job. But then they tell you no. Do you just pack up? Do you just say, that's it, my life is over? Or do you persevere? Do you keep pushing? Do you keep pushing? You have to look at it. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? That's what you need to look at. Is it a half full, half empty thing? What I mean by that is, do you give up because someone said no? In the scenario of going for a job interview. Or do you say, okay, can I request for feedback, please, so that I know what exactly I did wrong, so that I can take that on board and then move on, so that for the next interview, I'm well equipped and prepared to ensure that I get that job. And you never know, for that job that you may think, yeah, this is my dream job, this is it, I'm ready. This job, you've already planned your paycheck, by the third paycheck, you're going to Dubai. By the fifth paycheck, you're buying that car, you're doing this. You've already planned everything even before you sign the contract. You've planned it. And so for them to tell you no is like, whoa, where did that come from? But you never know. That job that you're thinking, yes, that's it, it's setting you up for life. That job may not even be the best job for you. The pay may be good, but the hours, you may not see your family and loved ones. So you start the job from Monday and they don't see you until, 2 weeks later, because it's like constant back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back. Are you living? Are you now living when you're doing a job back to back? There's no resting any time, no more. You don't have time to rest. You're constantly at it. You're constantly at it. So sometimes you have to look at that no, you have to look at that failure, you have to look at that disappointment in a different point of view, in that glass half full, half empty kind of look. Because is that no, was that a blessing in disguise? Instead of giving up because you heard a no, be persistent enough to say, okay, let me get feedback and we'll learn from that no, in order for me to better equip myself for the next one. Be persistent. If you are persistent, you will get it. If you are consistent, you will keep it. You have to love what you do. If you don't love what you do, then you're in a wrong business. You can't wake up in the morning and say to yourself, oh God, here I am again. I used to do that. I did that a lot when I used to work with Barclays Bank. Come Friday night, I was like, then R. Kelly came out with the song, Thank God It's Friday. I was like, whoa, R. Kelly, come on, were you feeling up some vibes from me or something? When that song came out, I remember back in the 90s, I was like, oh yes, this is my song. So when it was Friday, I was like, yeah, thank God it's Friday, yeah. I was also happy about that. Come Sunday night, it was a different song altogether. Because I was like, oh God, we're back there again on Monday. You have to love what you do. If you're not loving what you're doing, then you're in the wrong business. You may not get all the answers that you want today, but that doesn't mean you won't get it tomorrow. Be persistent. Pursue after your dream. Because if you don't, no one else will do it for you. Because everyone else is busy pursuing after their own dreams. Pursue after your own dreams. Put your life in order. Put your house in order. What do you want to achieve? What's your end goal? What are you striving for? Life is too short. Life is too short for you to sit down and be envious of somebody else. Because you failed today. Do you know how many times that person has been celebrated today? Do you know how many times that person failed? Do you know how many times that person cried behind closed doors that you never knew about? Do you know how many times that person is even still crying because you see that person out in the public and you think, oh, everything is fantastic for that person? Do you know what that person, if you were to wear that person's shoe for one day, would you be able to cope? Just forget about one day, 1 hour. Would you be able to cope? Be persistent in your own dreams. Be persistent in your own dreams. Stop wasting your time chasing after someone else's dream. Be persistent in your own dreams. And when you're persistent, what does the quote say? You will get it. And when you're consistent, you will keep it. And the dictionary definition of persistence says continuing firmly in an opinion or course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. In spite of difficulty or opposition. That woman, going back to that scenario again, with the woman at the hospital giving birth. She's pushing. The doctors are saying push. The husband, the boyfriend is saying push, and she's pushing. She's in pain. She's screaming. She's like, come on, I can't do this anymore. There's no life in me. They're like, come on, girl, you can do it. You can. And she's pushing and she's pushing and she's pushing in spite. Remember the dictionary definition. It says in spite of difficulty or opposition. She's pushing in spite of that difficulty, that pain that she's going through. Trust me, it's an immense pain. But she's pushing until she hears the cry of that baby. Persistent people begin their success where others end in failure. Are you one of those persistent people, or are you one of those who are classed as failures? We are not failures. You're only a failure when you stop at that point because you feel that that's it. All hope is gone. That's when you're all failure. But we are not a failure. The Bible tells us, I'm a Christian, the Bible tells us that there is a hope for a tree that is cut down. So that means that accepting that tree is actually pulled out from its roots. And there's nothing left in the roots anymore. There is hope for that tree. If you just cut the tree halfway through, give that tree some years, it will grow back. It may not grow back overnight, but it will definitely grow back. So what I'm trying to say with that is that even if when people think that, yeah, that's it, this person is never going to be able to make it again, bounce back. Let where you failed, that failure that you experienced, let that failure become the springboard in order for you to bounce from. Because you have to work to a point that you put all your anticipation thinking that, yes, because you've done all this work, you've done all this hard work, and you're anticipating greatness. And then you don't get it. So you had to start from somewhere. You had to start from this level. You kept working and working and working. You get to that point thinking that, yeah, this is it. You've arrived. But then you face that difficulty. You face that adversity. You face that disappointment. And things turn around and actually it didn't work out. So you're not actually going back down again. You have to start from this level. Okay, look back, look down to say, okay, what did I do? What formula did I add? How did I mix that formula? What did I add into it? What was missing? What was missing? What do I need to add now? So you're not going back down again. You're actually starting from this level. So you have to look at it that way. You're not starting from no, you can't. Even though it may seem as if you're starting from the very beginning again. No, you're not actually. Because you've gotten all the experience, you've acquired all those knowledge along the way. So you're actually starting from a different level. So even if you failed, you're failing from a different level. So your next attempt is from that level where you stopped. You're not going back down again. You're starting from that level where you stopped. That's what you need to think of. Life is too short for you to sit down and moan and cry that nothing good is happening around you. What's his name? Forrest Gump. The guy's name has just skipped my head. Tom Hanks acted him, but I can't remember the name of the character. He said, life is like a box of chocolates. Don't mind my accent there. He said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It's true. I'm not a chocolate fan, but once in a while, when you have all the celebrations and what's the other box? Well, like I said, I'm not a chocolate fan. But when you put, obviously you've got the different thing. You've got the card that tells you. But if you're going in blind and you just pick in, you never know what you're gonna get. But you make do. There's a saying that goes, when life throws you lemons, you make what? Lemonades. If life throws you oranges, you make orange juice. You make do with what you have. You make do with what you have. That you have to start from somewhere. You can't say, oh, I don't have anything. No, you do have something. You may just not know what you have. You probably haven't identified what you have. Hence the reason why I'm doing this campaign that says, understand your why and go for it. You need to understand what your why is. What is your why? The best way for you to understand your why, let me just give you a clear and simple definition as I come to an end now. The best way to understand your why is, what have you gone through and you've come out the other side? Think about it. What have you gone through and you've come out the other side and you're able to look back and say, oh, wow, I went through that situation and it didn't swallow me up. I didn't die in that situation. There is a reason why I went through that situation. Remember, why? There's a reason why you went through that situation. That situation didn't swallow you up. So now it's for you to sit down with an understanding and begin to reflect back and say, okay, I went through this situation. It was a very traumatic situation, but I went through it and I've come out the other side. So now how can I begin to work with that thing I went through, be able to begin the healing process in myself, my family, and the wider community? That's your why. Understand your why and go for it. Be persistent. If you were persistent, you will get it. If you were consistent, you will keep it. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow is our day 5. It's the end of this campaign. Doesn't mean it's the end completely. It's just the end of this particular campaign. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about reflection. So we're going to be reflecting back. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been tuning in. And obviously when I post it out on the various social media platforms, people have been making fantastic comments, both publicly and privately. I just want to say thank you. I'm not doing this for anybody. I'm just doing this for myself. Anybody that's getting anything from it, fantastic. If you're not getting anything from it, again, fantastic. I'm doing it for myself. Until tomorrow, God willing, have a great evening, and I'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.